And we're live with another episode of BS Busters. We're starting a little bit early, mostly because I have other things to do tonight, and
there's also another podcast coming out on the same day.
I gotta get some sleep before I head back out again. But before we do that, I guess we should introduce ourselves. We might have some other people dropping in as we go along, but that's neither here nor there. So who wants to go first? Introducing themselves, I mean.
Perhaps I should go. This is Pete from Video Game Facts. Boy. This week's news is a lot interesting, to say at least.
Yes, and next we have someone who hasn't been on the cast for a while. He is a Metroid fan, if you look at his avatar. It's got Dark Samus, or is that Zero? Is that Corruption?
That looks like Dark Samus.
PED Samus.
Dark Samus.
Dark Samus. Okay, go ahead, sir. Introduce.
My name is Kenoshi Abamanito, and my hours changed, so I'll be able to attend these more often. I no longer have to work those late nights anymore, which is nice.
That's good. That sounded like it was kicking your ass a little bit. Well, and you guys know me, Mr. Red Fox. I'm going to try and keep this podcast relatively short. Normally we go an hour and a half, but I think we can knock this shit out in shorter than that, because all we're talking about is things where we made predictions that are now coming true. So who wants to tackle a prediction that they made that's coming true in the video game, in the gamosphere, even as we speak?
It's not necessarily a prediction, but one of the things I predicted that, if they change the name, well, not necessarily predicted, but if they changed the name of the Wii U and gave it a different purpose, I think a lot of us made this prediction. It was sold better, and they did exactly that with the Nintendo Switch. With the Nintendo Switch, and it's selling gangbusters right now.
But they also took out functionality that made the Wii U, on a technical level, a better home console. So I mean, I have a Switch, but like literally, I don't think I'm ever going to have more time played on my Switch than I had on my Wii U.
Yeah.
Which is sad, because the Switch is like this hot console that's selling gangbusters, but it's just not as interesting to me as the previous Nintendo console. But that's neither here nor there. Pinky, you have a prediction that you made that's coming true?
I'm trying to remember what predictions I made that recently came true. It has to be something involving Sony or Nintendo.
Well, I guess I'll go while you get yours together. Here's mine. Microsoft has come out with a console. It's coming out with a console next year that is essentially an Xbox. It's an Xbox One S that's been revamped without a hard drive. So basically, not without a physical optical disk drive. So basically, if you want to play this, if you want to install games, it's gonna have to be digital only. And they're releasing this to push their online streaming service. The power of the cloud and all that shit. And we've known Microsoft was doing this for years, and now all of my predictions when it came to that. This is the future of Microsoft. You're not going to see optical discs. They're going to have basically a streaming box with maybe some hard drive space you can download, and that's it. And this is what they want to do. This is the future of the Xbox. It's going to be a digital service.
Yep, that's what they wanted. I mean, that's ultimately.
Okay, I just thought of something. The Sony getting caught of their shady antics in order to keep themselves alive in the gaming industry.
Oh, you mean their new their rating system that they pulled out of their ass?
Yeah.
where there's no transparency as to how they come up with these.
What? Oh,
ratings.
their ratings board.
Well, their own. They're kind of made up bullshit ratings board that they made up.
Yeah.
Like what games? Like what kind of content is allowed in order for those games to be
Yeah,
be
but they've been doing a lot
their
of
own systems.
they've been doing a lot of censorship. I've been hearing, or is that not what it's really about?
It's about control.
Hmm.
They want to control. They want to control the industry because that's what Sony is about. They want to control the industry. And people don't seem to realize that whenever Sony controls the industry, it gets worse. Like
Yeah.
Sony being in a position where they can control shit does not make things better.
Yep.
You
Oh,
know?
well, nah.
And right
Talk
now
about
they're
that later.
slowly moving closer to the corner.
Well, it's kind of a moot point because the thing that Sony doesn't seem to understand is that whenever they release their next home console, it's not going to have the same level of like it's going to be starting at zero. So they're going to have to like earn back people's stuff, and people are going to remember this shit.
Yeah.
Like they don't seem to understand that people are going to remember this shit.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't really know what to think of their whole ratings board. I mean, haven't these people tried to create things to manipulate how people think about them subtly?
Well,
Isn't this something that's always been done?
but the reason that it's bullshit is because basically, like, okay, the ratings board, like, there's clear, concise rules as to like whether it be the ESRB or the film ratings board or television. There's a reason. There's there's a rubric as to how things are being graded, right? There is no transparency as to how things are being rated under Sony's their own internal ratings board, and that's the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Sony's ratings board is way too vague.
You know, and people don't know, like, okay, what is allowed, what's not allowed, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It's
Yeah.
not that they're allowing or disallowing certain things. Although to be fair, like I don't really care about them like allowing or not allowing certain content for the system because I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you that's one of the problems with Nintendo is that they're almost too fucking open with the Switch, letting certain shit on it that really shouldn't be on it.
So you could argue the same with the Wii U's eShop, but like Meme Run.
Yeah. Like you could conceivably argue that that's a problem. So, you know,
Of course, of course, but it's a double-edged sword. If you don't allow any of those low-quality games on, if Nintendo doesn't allow those low-quality games onto the eShop, you'll have fans of those titles go on a riot against Nintendo for being quote unquote out of touch.
no, they won't. There isn't gonna be a riot if, oh my god, you didn't allow some shitty ass game that no one likes anyway on the system. I promise you. I promise you that.
For sure.
But how's it going, Joel? Introduce yourself, and then we'll continue with the topic.
What was that topic? But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, thank you for Busters, and I'm Joe Varial Moonstar. Sorry about being late. Dinner.
No, that's okay. We were talking about basically predictions that we made about certain companies and how they've been coming true. Like Kenoshi said that his prediction was that Nintendo was going to rename the Wii U and just rebrand it, and that was the Switch, and it's going to sell just fine.
And my prediction was that Sony was going to be eventually caught by their shitty antics from the public.
Their shenanigans.
And so far, I don't got any to tell, but I know I prediction that Mario would turn. I mean, that Nintendo would have 10 million Switches before Mario comes out. It's a bit close, but then I'm actually curious of how many Switches they'll sell before the
Smash Brothers comes out, because that's the one to beat.
I said before the quarter end, because that means that I'm trying to be aware of into a date before another game. And this time, since they usually close out, I'll make the prediction that they'll at least hit 22.
Well, it could happen.
I said they could. I didn't say they will, but could. I mean, if they hit 21, I'm at least going to say that. So that just leaves one thing. What did you predict anyways?
I didn't make any sales predictions.
He just predicted that that Microsoft will release an Xbox One system that's diskless,
so that they could control the market. Like, my whole thing is that they want to control the market, because that's what Microsoft has always wanted to do. They basically want to control the video game industry.
Yeah.
And
let's see. The aiming at anything that's beyond control of every single Nintendo, because Sony is trying to get their own rating system, and Microsoft is going at trying to get the entire diskless system. Yeah,
which is what they want to do. They want to create a diskless system so that they can control, like they can control the distribution, right? Like, if you want to play their games, the problem is that Microsoft doesn't have games like that. Yeah, they bought all these studios that they're probably going to bring to PC and whatever their future.
The only problem is where, in the words of somebody that is in a commercial,
what?
Where's the beef?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Microsoft doesn't have games like that. Like, Microsoft doesn't have the games where you're going to be like, okay, Nintendo can get away with their shitty online service because basically, Nintendo has like high quality IPs that people will go out of their way to get. No matter how shitty Nintendo is, they have IPs that are strong enough that people will go out of their way to get those systems, right? They'll go out of their way.
At least their online is better. At least it's working the other two. Not crashing every three months.
I mean, I would say it's on par with the other ones. It's just cheaper, but that's neither. And it's bare minimum, but you're paying less for it. But if it's bare minimum and it's peer-to-peer servers, which means the heavy lifting of the network is being done by your ISP, then you shouldn't be paying anything at all. But that's neither here nor there. Basically, you have to pay in order to get, your Pokemon, your Smash Brothers, your Marios, your Zeldas. Like there's strong enough IPs that people are gonna pay regardless for shit. Does Microsoft have games like that?
Nope. They're either irrelevant or dead and buried.
Most of the ones that they have as originals, I'd say dead and buried.
I mean, do you see people? I mean, do you see people buying this discless Xbox for Forza? Because that's the highest. That's the most successful IP they have right now is fucking Forza.
I was gonna say, is it the most successful thing on there? Shooting games and FIFA?
No. Right now, the most successful IP that Microsoft has on the Xbox, the OG the Xbox One, the Xbox One is Forza.
And it's just a racing simulator.
And my question is, do you see anyone buying a console for Forza?
Nope. Because I'm more into kart racers, like Mario Kart.
I mean, I just don't see it, you know? But what do I know? I'm not a...
That's even close to that as far as Nintendo goes. F-Zero, but seriously, where's the fun in this? I mean, at least F-Zero gives you high-speed racing.
So does Forza. Although F-Zero is more like futuristic racing rather than, you know...
Real present-day racing.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, who wants to go next?
Well, we could discuss the news about Sony leaving E3.
Yeah, what the heck's going on there? Like,
I think
did they
they
not have
censored themselves out.
yeah.
Come on, you guys are bright. You
And
guys
right now,
are bright.
They
right
don't
now,
have any. They don't have anything to show. They don't have anything. They got nothing.
Now
Right now-
let's
No, I was saying that they censored themselves out because they probably had altered their games to appeal to the Western audience in their own games in their own country. I think it's to that point that.
And right now, Nintendo and Microsoft are taking shots at Sony leaving E3, saying that they will be participating next year.
yeah, but I mean, come on. We all know what's really going on here, right? Like we're all bright people here.
Right, because E3 is a dying medium.
Well, that and the fact that okay, let's keep it real. Sony is going to release a PS5. All right. The games that they're gonna put on the PS5, they need to. They saw what Nintendo was able to do with the Switch, right? So
Right.
clearly they're gonna. Sony hasn't had an original fucking idea since they entered the video game market. All their ideas they stole from
So
Nintendo.
they're going to try to steal Nintendo stuff again.
So what they're gonna do is that they're not gonna show up at this year's E3. They might, you know, like drop some stuff, like, you know, other publishers might say, well, this game is also coming out to the PS3 or PS4, whatever. They're going to take their first party games and they're either going to dual release it for the PS4 as a swan song for the PS4 and also release it for the PS5, which they'll probably show off next year and it'll probably come out spring of 2020. But as it is right now, they have no reason to show anything at this year's E3. And even if they show anything, those games would just get pushed back or put onto.
I would laugh if the PS5 turns out to be ripping off the Switch based on that leaked. Forgot the name of it. That blueprint, or was it the concept art? a patent
Oh God.
of that PlayStation DualShocker controller with a tablet in the middle.
I don't see that happening, but
If they try to copy the Switch, I'm gonna facepalm. Know what the people are gonna say, and they're gonna praise for it, and give Nintendo the middle finger for it.
yeah, I don't see them copying the Switch. What I do see Sony doing is they'll probably steal a page from out of Microsoft's book and make a diskless PS5. So then they can charge you for. So then you have to get PlayStation Network. You have to get. You have to download their games, so they can charge you more for the games, so they can make more money. That's what I see happening. But that's just me. That's my own little.
You honestly think they try to copy Microsoft that hasn't gotten a single bit of success in Japan?
Well, yeah, because I mean, let's keep it real. Everything that Microsoft wanted to do with the Xbox One, Sony did the same shit that people got mad about, except they did it quietly. And that's the difference. Like Microsoft said, we're going to fuck you over and there's nothing you can do about it. And Sony said, okay, we're going to fuck you over, but we're going to do it quietly. Here, we Bill Cosby your drink. I mean, look, listen. It's you still at the end of the day, you're still getting fucked over. It's just one drugged you and the other one told you up front.
I was gonna say one at least gives you a lube.
Yeah. One was like, yeah, we're totally gonna take advantage of you unfairly. And the other one, well, didn't. But I mean, personally, I don't want to be taken advantage of either way. So
now, for the evilest thing ever done in video game history. A physical copy of Fallout 76 for the PC happens to be a cardboard disc with a code for a redeemable code and written in it.
Hold on. Let me get that straight. Cardboard disc.
Yep.
I mean, that's logical. I mean, when I got Fallout, Skyrim, when I got Skyrim, basically the disc only had like 600 megabytes on it. Like basically, it just had a Steam verification code, and then like it downloaded the rest of the game off of Steam. So I mean, that's just a step further, where they just give you a code and you're downloading it off of their thing.
I'm sorry. I just I BRB real quick.
That's modern gaming right there. And as we can all allude to, modern gaming sucks.
And people are outraged because of the cardboard disc.
And people are complaining about Nintendo. Okay, stop before you go into another laugh fit.
I don't know why people are outraged. I mean,
So why aren't people making 1,000 videos about, oh, Sony's a failure. They can't they're not going to E3, they must be afraid of something.
Because Sony has sold 86 million PS whatevers and
PS4s.
Yeah.
Well, you could say that, oh, Sony's losing their edge. They're losing their edge. So.
But they've been losing their itch since the PS3 days.
Actually, I would say the PS2 days, but
Yeah, though it really agree with $599.
Ridge Racer. So here's this giant enemy crab, and you attack its weak point for massive damage. So, did you hear the news that DOA Extreme 3 is coming to the Switch?
Yeah, and it's gonna get
Um,
censored on PlayStation 4, and Nintendo's gonna have the uncut and raw version of that game.
Yeah. Right
If
now,
I
the
remember
guys,
right, is that one of the?
me and the
is that-
guys.
I was saying, is that the game that was mentioned up in some news stories saying that
it was not going to
due
be
to
ported to the
due to
overseas.
Sony's censorship?
Yeah, it's the exact same game that was mentioned that it won't be getting an overseas release due to the SJW political climate.
or due to it just being a misogynist bullshit ass titty simulator. I mean, as a heterosexual male, yes, I love the female form, but seriously, that whole that game has a one-handed mode. All right,
And we know what demo means in English.
all right, but
Whatever. That's how I feel about that game. Whatever.
So
Yeah.
recently,
I don't have to buy it.
me and the other contributors from Video Game Facts were having an argument against this one concerned troll or anti-censorship person, worrying that
Wouldn't be surprised if he's from a certain website.
yeah. You mean Niche Gamer?
Yep.
Here's all I'm gonna say. I think that, I mean, like, here's the thing. Sony is trying to appeal to a larger market, okay? Bigger than they already are. They want to go to outside of base gamers. What they don't realize is that they pretty much saturated the market of people who are going to buy their fucking console. So now they're going to come out with a new console and try and get even more people. To quote Satoru Iwata, they're going for that red ocean when they should be going for the blue ocean. And they think that going for the blue ocean means going after people who want a family console. But the thing is that a lot of the people who own PS4s, it is their family console. So they're basically going after the same people. As far as Dead or Alive volleyball goes, look, it's not even a game. It's just it's like I said, it's
Pornography.
It's scandalous. It's not even pornography because people aren't fucking. It's just scantily clad women.
I just call it
playing
fan
volleyball.
service.
Doesn't have to.
It's just scantily clad women playing volleyball. And I'll tell you right now, I don't see the point of getting horny about scantily clad fake women playing volleyball when you can go and look up women's beach volleyball, which is way more fun and it's real women. Like, if you ever actually met these women, you'd be like, hey, I might have a chance. You fucking losers. But you'd rather
Especially
play
if they're grounded.
Dead or Alive beach volleyball in one-handed mode.
Well, but you see, Mr. Red Fox, they can't do so with real women because those real women might have the same mindset as those politically correct feminists who think anything men do to women is considered sexist or misogynist, like dog whistling or.
You want to know what you do when you deal with women like that? Because I've dated them. You don't say stupid shit like that. You know what you say? Wow, I believe that women should be treated as equally as men. Would you like to go get a coffee? Thank you. Let's go get a coffee. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Fuck that game and fuck Sony. And I hope it flops. Let's see what else. We got a little bit of time left. Let's see. I think there's some other topics to cover.
I've got one other, and I wanted to save this for last.
Yeah, we can hit it. This could be the last topic, sure.
Mr. Red Fox and Jewel Riders have gotten blown the heck out because Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee has been well received by critics despite their minor complaints about it. And according to MPD, it's selling better than expected, according by Nintendo.
Well, I mean, that's their choice. I mean, I don't care.
You're downplaying the game, expecting it to flop.
Well, I mean, I still expect it to flop. I mean, you know, but then again, I'm a very how can I put this? I'm a very critical person. But I mean, if it does well, that's cool. But here's what I want people to understand. Okay, if this game does well, here's what's going to happen. Okay, the core Pokemon games are going to be more like this game, which means the core Pokemon players, I don't want to hear them bitching. Well, why is it Pokemon the way it used to be? Because you motherfuckers bought this shit and supported it, which meant they took it as a hint. Oh, we need to make our games more like this. I don't want to hear it. I don't want people making videos. This is terrible. You fucking bought this shit and supported it, so you deserve what you paid for it. And I don't want.
Actually, no. It's because they just confirmed that.
Yes, it is.
You guys are.
That's what happens.
You two are being irrational here, guys. Which is what
irrational might. I know logic in it.
Well. No.
Gonna affect other games.
I'm not being irrational. That's how business works. Like, if something sells a lot, companies look at that and say, "Oh, okay. Well, what qualities made that sell so much?" And then they do surveys, customer surveys, and they're like, "Well, we like this, we like this, we like this." And because it sells a lot, they take those factors typically and incorporate that in the next version of whatever the next iteration they come out with, so that it appeals to those people, so they can get that audience, and vice versa. If something sells poorly, even if there is a diehard small fan base for it, they don't use that anymore. I mean, you can look at that with Nintendo themselves. I mean, Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime is like is one of my favorite franchises in Nintendo, but it has not sold well traditionally. Like the highest selling version of that iteration of that series is the first one, Metroid Prime, the original on the GameCube. Every other iteration of that game has sold consecutively less than the previous iteration. So basically, that tells a company, because companies, they can only move by data, and the best form of data that a company can get is sales numbers. So if something sells dismally, unless you have a really vocal fan base, and even then it might not work, because look at all those people. We want a new Star Fox. We want a new Star Fox, and they got it, and they didn't buy the shit. They wanted a new Metroid. They got a new Metroid, and they said, we want something that's going to tell a different story than just typically Samus, and they got that, and they still bitched about it. So, I mean, the only hard data that you can get as a business is you look at the sales numbers. Now, the sales numbers, are probably going to inform what they did with the next Pokemon game. If this one sells gangbusters, then they're going to make more Pokemon games be like the one that sold gangbusters. That's business.
One problem,
business fucking 101.
One problem, though, is they're taking the Shin Megami Tensei / Persona format, where they're making two separate mainline titles. One being the hardcore titles that you guys know and love, and the other being the Let's Go series for the casuals.
Man, I really don't care either way, because I've pretty much, at this point, I'm about Pokemon out. It's kind of like this.
So you pretty much admit that you're suffering from Pokemon fatigue. You could have just said it before when you were
I mean,
Gen 7.
No, I mean, if they aren't making games that appeal to me, then I don't need to buy them. Because for years I did. I was like, you know what? I'm going to support this franchise because I think they'll get it eventually. And they were making steps in the right direction. And then they started fucking up. And I'm like, I'm tired of spending $40. Well, actually, it's 40 times 80 because you're buying both versions of the damn game. I'm tired of buying, spending almost $100 for shit. So
I don't know. Our owner EPF thinks the exact opposite, where he thinks that Game Freak is still going on the right direction with the recent titles.
Well, I mean, look, it's subjective. me personally, it's been pretty shitty, and it has not gotten better. But you know, I mean, like, here's the thing. Like Induo says, I don't have to buy it. I can go play something else. You know, I can go play Dragon Quest Monsters.
And I should also mention that there have been Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee's Metacritic user scores as being bombarded by troll reviews.
Like I said, I don't have to look. I do not. Now here's the thing, okay? I don't have to buy it. Like, here's the thing. For people who enjoy that game, God bless you. I saw the gameplay demos of people playing it, of like gameplay, the developers playing it. I'm like, this looks like shit that I wouldn't enjoy playing. And so basically I said,
playing the game it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty.
And I said to myself, you know, it doesn't interest me. But that's the thing. It's like, here's the thing. Just because you're a fan of something doesn't mean you have to like all aspects of it. Like, I'm a fan of Marvel. That doesn't mean I fucking have every comic they've ever published. You know, I'm a fan of Batman. That doesn't mean I have every fucking comic run. I'm a fan of Spider-Man. That doesn't mean I have every fucking run. Just because you're a fan of something doesn't mean you have to like everything about it. You know, I like ice cream. That doesn't mean I have all flavors in my fucking fridge. And you know, I'm a fan of Pokemon. I like certain Pokemon games. Other ones I can take or leave. And this is one of them. Like, I like the core Pokemon games. I like some of the spinoffs, but some of the spinoffs are just abysmal, like Pokemon Ranger. I don't understand people's weird ass infatuation with Pokemon Snap or Stadium. I don't see.
Stadium's awful.
Stadium is.
This is what Stadium was to me. It's like, you know, this is cool and all. I wish this was a fighting game.
Well,
like,
I mean, I don't mind the turn-based combat. I don't mind the turn-based combat, like, because I expected that from a Pokemon game. It kind of had turn-based combat based on agility factors. What bothered me is that you couldn't even have the fucking Pokemon actually attack each other. You had this lame ass, oh, he didn't attack, and then it swept to the other Pokemon, and they'd flinch. They'd do like a little animation. And I'm like, you lazy motherfuckers. And I know they could have had games where they were actually hitting each other, because they had games like that on the N64. So that was just fucking lazy right there. But that's neither here nor there. Basically, like, I mean, I don't need, like, it's like this. I don't need to see every fucking movie that comes out. There's some movies you don't have to watch, and there's some movies you do. And this is one of them where I don't have to, you know, I don't have to go to the end of this road. And I don't plan on going to the end of that road. So, you know, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's okay. But I mean, like, okay, I'm gonna give you a personal analogy, okay? When I was a little kid, I used to spend every summer with my grandparents. My grandparents were old Southern black people. And what they ate for breakfast was grits. What are grits? They're processed cornmeal. And they'd eat it every morning. Every morning. Every morning. Every morning. Sometimes if they cooked too much, they'd have grits for dinner. And I'm talking grits with gravy, grits with fish, grits with fried chicken, grits with pork tenderloin, grits and cornbread. Just a lot of grits. Yeah. And one day I reached the point where I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of grits. Like, if I see grits again, I'm going to throw someone out of a window. So I stopped eating grits. I haven't basically I eat grits maybe once or twice a year now. When I get a craving, like I have some fried fish, or like I just really just want some, like just some down home. But I mean, if I had to eat grits more than 2 or 3 times a year, I would throw someone out of a window. And that's basically how I feel about Pokemon. It's like I was inundated. I've had my fill. And now I'm like, occasionally I'll partake, but it's not something I need to have all the time. I've officially downgraded my status from being a core Pokemon player to being an occasional Pokemon player. I'm not even casual anymore. Like, because the casual shit doesn't even interest me. I'm like, I don't really give a shit.
You think you've just kind of grown out of the whole Pokemon scene? Possibly.
No, it's not that. They just aren't doing the things that I want from a monster collection RPG light battler.
Then it's on you then, because a lot of people don't seem to be bothered with the current direction right now.
Did you hear what I said?
Then they're going to be complaining when it's all gone.
Here's the thing. You're arguing my opinion. Like, that's how I feel. It's a subjective opinion. My opinion can't be right or wrong because it's subjective. It's my feelings, right?
But opinions can be wrong if it's not backed up by.
Shut up!
No, it's not. Okay? Now, if I was saying that Pokemon has become repetitive and kind of stale, and that's why I don't like it, then I would be kind of, that's an opinion that's debatable. But I'm saying that, to me, from my observations, my experiences, I find that they aren't making changes to the formula in a way that makes it interesting to me. But there are other Monster Collection Battler RPG lights out there that do scratch that itch for me that I can play.
Which is the Shin Megami Tensei games.
Well, no. Actually, I was going to say Dragon Quest Monsters.
No.
Dragon Quest Monsters is everything. To me, Dragon Quest Monsters is what Pokemon should have been reaching towards, but has, up to this point, kind of not been going towards. I know they're afraid of alienating their core fan base, but that's
the fan base anyways.
Yeah, those are the breaks. I mean, personally, like I said, look, everyone is entitled to their feelings, but I mean, for me, Pokemon, it just is. It's like, I think it needs to evolve and not keep on doing minute changes to the iteration.
But it is evolving. It can argue that it is evolving.
Well, if it is evolving, they keep on pressing the B button to cancel. But that's neither here nor there.
Fox.
But that's neither here nor there. They've got a Magic Carpet level 20, and they're like, man, it's gonna evolve into a Gyarados, and they're like, nope, fuck that. I'm like, why would you do that? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I think we need to. Kenoshi, you have anything you want to add before we wrap things up? We got 12 minutes. So if you have a quick topic you want to throw in the pot.
No, not really. It's just that Pokemon, the first two gens are the only gens that matter in my mind. But in any case,
I'm not gonna go that. I'm not gonna say that part. I think
had pretty outdated mechanics and level curves.
I just think that's like I'm mostly talking about design.
I think each
Pokemon in those days, the first couple gens.
I think each generation has pushed the core ideas behind the Pokemon themselves forward. They've added different types. They've changed how they've added natures. They've changed weaknesses and strengths, which is kind of cool. They've moved on that regard. Pokemon has gone forward. My thing is that, and I stand by this. I know Pokemon core fans are gonna get angry at me. I swear they're running out of fucking ideas for Pokemon.
No, because
I swear they are. Man, look, man, they had a fucking set of keys. Now they got a nut.
Yeah, and yet it's a pile of sludge and a rock with hands is a-okay.
Yeah, because the pile of sludge was a pile of shit. That's just brilliant.
And to be fair, steel types, ghost types, and rock types, it's very hard to create animals based on those types.
It was a pile of shit.
And other yokai mythologies.
Any Pokemon, look, the fact that they were able to create a Pokemon that was a pile of shit and we just accepted it. We were like, yeah, it's muck, it's Grimer, it's a pile of shit, it's a pile of living shit. That is it. Basically, they had the Soprano monster before Rare ever created that character from Conker's Bad Fur Day. But I mean, yeah. So
There's
basically,
your Gen 1 bias going.
but I mean, I just think that's hilarious. And I think they've kind of moved it forward. But I think they're beginning. I think the last 2 gens they've kind of begun to get kind of, you know. I think they're having brain farts.
They will disagree with you, saying that the last 2 gens Pokemon design are a lot more. There's a lot more effort put into them. Like
I can't tell, man.
It's based off. It's based like the set of keys you mentioned.
I was too busy looking. I was too busy looking at what is essentially a polar bear, a fucking ice cream cone, a set of keys.
How is a polar bear considered routing out of ideas when there hasn't been a polar bear Pokemon before prior to that?
That was in Gen 5,
because it just doesn't look very. I mean, this is my own personal opinion, but it doesn't seem to be very creative. It's like someone went to the zoo and it's like a Pokemon designer went to a zoo. Is like, shit, I gotta come up with an idea. Oh wait, there's a polar bear. I got it.
You realize that every gen has its own bear Pokemon, right?
Or maybe even worse. Like the guy's like, man, I gotta come up with a new Pokemon. It's gotta be an ice type. And he saw his girlfriend looking on a vanilla ice cream cone suggestively. He's like, I got it.
Actually, the ice cream cone was actually designed by one of Game Freak's European developers.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's why I said she looked suggestively. She was looking on a vanilla ice cream cone. But anyway, yeah, Jesus, that was fucking lazy to me. I know people will disagree, and you know that's debate is about disagreement. I don't care if people disagree. To me, it's some of the laziest fucking shit I've ever seen.
Nah, nothing's more
just my own personal opinion.
Nothing's more lazier than the Voltorb line, or
where it's basically just a Pokemon ball,
or Magneton.
But we kind of
stacked together.
Magneton is kind of lazy. The Voltorb kind of within Gen 1 kind of made sense because, you know, like the lore behind it. Hey, we based Pokeballs on how this Pokemon looked. That was kind of a nice little. It was using interesting story to be lazy, and I kind of gave them, okay, well, you know, I can kind of let that go. But now that we're like, you know, 7 gens in, I'm beginning to see the cracks around the eyes.
No, it's just you putting your nostalgia glasses on.
Nah, man. They're running out of ideas.
Nah, man.
Unless they can come up with a new shit monster, I'm not cool.
It's just that you prefer more animal-based Pokemon rather than more inanimate object-based Pokemon.
I actually like 4th and 5th gen Pokemon. I just think that with 6th and 7th gen, they've kind of run out of ideas.
For me, they mostly screwed up with Gen 7.
Yeah, but that's just me. Anyone?
No, they haven't screwed up with Gen 7.
We have 5 minutes.
Yes, they have.
Look, we're not fighting the Pokemon Civil War here. Give your sign-offs, and then you guys can, when you get the Liger's cast, you can snipe at each other all you want to about Pokemon. So give your sign-offs, and then we'll wrap things up. And pimp out anything you want to pimp out.
This is Pikachu for Video Game Facts. I recently posted an article about Splatfest, this one's Splatfest, which is Salsa versus Guacamole, and Team Guacamole lost.
What? Who lost? Salsa lost?
It was a 3.
Team Guacamole lost.
Oh, that's a shame. You know what they should have had? Team Queso. Team Queso would have got you guys through. Let's see what else. Kenoshi, anything you want to pimp out?
No, I'm not doing anything. I mean, I've been thinking about doing various things, but once I get closer to it, since I actually have the evenings free now, I don't have to work late nights anymore.
Joel?
So far.
Okay, I guess it's me then. I have some videos that I'm percolating, getting the footage collected for. I have the scripts written. I just have to get the footage to go along with it. These videos will be about Fallout 76. Sony confirming what we've already known, that E3 is irrelevant, and growing increasingly more irrelevant. And that's going to be a very interesting video. And and yeah, that's mostly it. So remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. Kenoshi has a channel. What's the name of your channel, Kenoshi, so I can pimp it out?
It's just Kenoshi Kabamanito.
Yeah, and so subscribe to his channel because he's got some pretty good videos out there. And remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. We talk about BS Busters is about calling out the bullshit that we see in the gaming community when it comes to certain franchises and console manufacturers. It was born out of seeing bias against certain companies, which, you know, I'm all against calling out bullshit when someone's fucking up. But if someone next to you is fucking up, but you're looking at the dude across from you who's fucking up and ignoring the person next to you who's fucking up, and you don't call out both of them, that's bias. We don't like that. So with that being said, that's the end of the video. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe, and peace.
And hype responsibly.
Yes.